Anyway, people are saying a lot of like movies from, you know, what's this guy's name? Miyazaki?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh. Hello everybody and welcome to Anime Was a Mistake, the Fall of the House of Miyazaki, brought to you by the Foundation for the Eradication of Gen 5 Pokemon, because they fucking suck and we need to get rid of them. I'm Max.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Thomas.
And together we have to share a mic and it's awkward.
I hate it.
And so before we talk about, you know, how anime was a mistake and how Miyazaki's a talentless hack and all of the other theses for these theses, we should learn who Miyazaki is. Do you want to do that?
For better or for worse, everyone has heard of Miyazaki. He's a titan of the industry. He's created incredible worlds, inspired fantastical experiences, and really inspired people the world over. And he was, fun fact, he was originally hired as a planner for Armored Core, but then he got tapped to take full control of the game Demon's Souls, which was the predecessor to Dark Souls.
I think you, much like a specific member of our audience, are confusing Miyazaki.
Oh, yeah, this is Hidetaka Miyazaki, not Hayao Miyazaki. Sorry, I always get them really confused. Miyazaki is the same name. All right, so Hayao Miyazaki. So from a young age, he was very interested in manga and animation, just like all of us. We're degenerates, too. He joined and was the only member of a comic club in his school, so really embracing that whole loner nerd aesthetic. So as he grew, his art grew, and he worked on his art, and he found that he couldn't draw people. He could only draw planes, tanks, and battleships. So I'm pretty sure he was using AI art to fake it. It's always the hands. But sadly, this meant that he could never get his dream job of drawing ship girls for his Zerlane. Or those big titty anime pictures outside. But don't worry.
Hey, those are only in the 18+ room now.
I don't know. I saw some.
They replaced the good panel room with a hentai market. Okay.
Don't worry. He eventually got past this and was able to draw something vaguely resembling a human.
Are you sure?
That's a frog.
It worked somehow, but where did he get all his inspiration from? So from his Wikipedia, he claims that some of his earliest memories were of bombed-out cities. And you can really see how it kind of affects his later works. And then from his career, I looked into it, and early in his career, he started working on the wonderful world of Puss in Boots. So being tied to the Shrek cinematic universe that early in life, we knew he had something good going for him. Unfortunately, he was barred from working on Shrek proper because he didn't like Smash Mouth. And unfortunately, he suggested using Nickelback instead, and they canned him. So then he went on to found Studio Ghibli because he just wanted to do it out of spite and compete with DreamWorks. But unlike Sony, who entered the market out of spite, Ghibli did not do so well.
So I guess we should talk about the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the very first movie he ever made was The Castle of Cagliostro. And, you know, it's his directorial debut, and we all know first anythings are always kind of rough. And one thing this movie did teach me is that if you really want to, you can drive on walls. So I decided to give it a try on the way here, and that's why my 2001 Honda Accord is at the bottom of the river right now.
Wait. How is it on fire and in a river? This isn't Ohio. Like the American river's polluted, but not that polluted.
Regardless, I'm going to be taking Amtrak home. This move not only had severe ramifications on my car, but also on the Lupin III franchise. Because often, before this, Lupin was a gentlemanly thief going and stealing from the rich and giving to himself. Ever since this movie, though, Lupin is suspiciously a lecherous pervert. And, I guess we have Miyazaki to blame.
Now we're going to talk about one of you's favorite Miyazaki films, Warriors of the Wind. Now, I thought this movie was pretty great, so I was confused. Like, it's Miyazaki, he can't actually make anything good. And it turns out that's because this is the American release. The original Japanese version was Nazca in the Valley of the Wind. They cut 22 minutes out of it because the American version was released in Florida, so they had to remove all of the environmental undertones and scenes where women had lines, because Florida. So this led Miyazaki to actually do one of the most base things possible and mail Harvey Weinstein a katana. Now, officially, it was because he didn't want them to make gratuitous cuts to his films going forward. But I like to think it's because he knew what Weinstein was up to and was giving him advice on the only acceptable way out.
Didn't Miyazaki demand for there to be like no
cuts
to Totoro?
Yeah, no cuts.
Alright, so next up we have The Castle in the Sky. This movie starts out with child labor, and no matter what Jack Black says, children do not yearn for the mines.
Wait, it's in Arkansas?
Apparently.
Okay.
It's called exploitation. It's not okay. I bet this kid isn't even getting paid. That's why he leaves as soon as a girl falls from the sky.
We're not getting paid to do this. We're paying to do this.
$25.
I guarantee this kid still dies from black lung at age of 30. So, anyways, but it did get some big names in the industry. We clearly see Jim Carrey's first breakout role where he's practicing Crayon. And then we're going to ignore a couple slides.
And then this slide happened. So now we have to talk about everybody's Christmas comedy classic, Grave of the Fireflies. Now, some of you may be going, Max, why are you talking about Grave of the Fireflies in a panel about Miyazaki? He is not the director of Grave of the Fireflies. And the rest of you are like, wait, really? I didn't realize that. That's because it's just a Studio Ghibli movie. We seem to think all of those movies are Miyazaki. So, fuck it. Misinformation is fine. We can just go with it. We live in a post-truth society. Whatever we believe is true, and that will have no repercussions going forward. So anyway, Miyazaki's hit Christmas comedy classic Grave of the Fireflies has been received by audiences as one of the most emotional anti-war films ever made, which is not what I got from it. It's why I had to look deeper. There's no way that he purposely made such a masterpiece. So Miyazaki, pictured here, didn't intend for us to be sympathetic towards the children. This was instead a classic tale of those little shits should have appreciated how good they had it. Kind of fucked up killing children in some fascistic morality play about how you should be grateful to be beaten by your aunt more. I don't know. Anyway, speaking of dead children, we should probably move on to the movie that Grave of the Fireflies was released as a double feature with, which was My Neighbor Totoro. Yes, really. Absolute sick joke to put such a lighthearted romp as Grave of the Fireflies with this tragic tale.
I knew that.
So, the magical carefree story about two kids hanging out with the giant cat spirit? No, the cat spirit is actually the god of death. That's right, here at 5th Gen in Pokemon, we subscribe to Dark Totoro theory. Because after last year, I think we all learned no one can have nice things anymore. So that means Mei and Satsuki are dead. Satsuki actually negotiated with the god of death, Totoro, to allow them to see their mother one more time before being taken down the river Styx. Don't worry, though, since their mother could see them when they visited, that means she will soon be joining them. Yeah, that is actual Dark Totoro theory. So, with such a poorly constructed story, they knew there was only one way to introduce foreign audiences to this terrible movie, by trapping them in a giant flying metal toad. That's right, and I'm not kidding. The first dub of this movie was done by Japan Airlines. And God, if that started on my plane, I'd be praying that this happens. Or maybe something cooler like this.
There was in addition to that and the other two dubs by, I think, Disney and Fox. There was another
they're going to keep
dub.
redubbing it.
There was another dub that was only released in Hong Kong that is lost.
We're going to keep moving. But
all right. So, we all know that these movies are kind of bad, but Kiki's Delivery Service is kind of good. We all know it's good, but for the wrong reasons. All right, I mean, what new does this bring? Like, a little witch, a talking cat, Waldo? No, the only reason why this is a good movie is because it has the best boy, Jeff. And I love this dog. I'd die for this dog. He saves Kiki during her first delivery and is really the powerhouse she needs to get her up-and-coming business going. What a good dog.
He's a good dog. I should have named my dog Jeff. I named my dog Kiki because there's a 30-day window with the shelter where you can return them if the dog sucks. I figured if I named her after something terrible, it'd be easier to get rid of her. Didn't work, still have the dog. Speaking of tragedies, let's talk about Porco Rosso. So Mr. Rosso is a fugitive, but not just any fugitive. He's the cool kind of fugitive. And actually, one sec. Do you all remember when we got together with Luigi to practice panels here on December 4th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time? It was a good time. Yeah, it was cool.
Wait. Why did you get to be Luigi? I want to be the hot one.
Is that better?
Wait, no, he's not hot.
I mean, he's going to hell. It's pretty hot there. Anyway, at one point, Porco quips that he'd rather be a pig than a fascist, which, hell yeah, brother. But then at the end of the movie, his pig curse is lifted and he becomes human, which leads me to question, is he becoming a fascist? Like, were his awesome politics just part of the curse that turned him into a pig? Because that sounds like some Elon Musk woke mind virus bullshit to me. Like, Miyazaki, what the fuck are you? I didn't know you were gonna, like, carry water like the fucking Washington Post for this people. I thought you were better than this.
I have a question. What if Elon Musk purchased Studio Ghibli and directed the next movie?
Very cursed.
What would it be like?
No.
It'd be terrible. All right, next up we have Princess Mononoke. Little effect, it's totally a Pokemon movie. I mean, just look at it. It's totally stars Xerneas from Pokemon X. So, and it even has a Pokemon plot. You know, small town mayor fights off an assassination attempt, then gets blackmailed into killing the legendary Pokemon. See, clearly, just a Pokemon plot. And Princess Mononoke really missed out on merchandising opportunities. Because, I mean, look at this. It's Ashitaka. He's a hunk, and San can't keep her eyes or hands off of him the entire movie. But you know who else can't? The wolves. Like, they love this guy. Like, he's the best chew toy ever. If you made the chew toy out of this, dogs around the world would love this, and we'd have the best one ever. But I will say, this movie did some leaps and bounds for really showcasing defensive technologies for the time. You know, first they show off walls. They're great. But then the samurai get in, the walls are not so great. But then we have guns. Guns stop the samurai. But then they just have enough samurai where you don't have enough ammo to kill them all. So you're surrounded, everyone's got guns, your walls are failing you, so what do? Clearly summon Cthulhu to kill everyone. Defensive tactics have never been better.
Alright, Spirited Away, hear me out, it's pretty trashy. It's like the junk food of Ghibli movies. Like, remember the scene where Chihiro meets her most powerful foe yet, a staircase? Well, that's literally a Family Guy joke. I don't know what to tell you. He really does a James Somerton with this one. And remember remember Haku, this badass white dragon who's really an edgy anime boy as a side gig? Well, he gets beaten within an inch of his life. But by who, you may ask? Barbara Bush? Epstein? That guy from Bart? No. Paper fucking planes. I can't believe it.
Alright, and then we have Howl's Moving Castle. I do have to say, when watching this movie, how common are curses in this movie? Because, like, every character is a curse. Hal? Cursed. Sophie? Cursed. Like, Turniphead? Mega cursed. I mean, even the evil witch gets cursed. But I will say, the one nice thing about this movie was they gave everyone a fantastic hat. Like, even minor characters got a hat. It was like playing TF2 again. I love that.
What are you doing?
It's my hat. Fantastic.
You had a better hat to start with.
So we're going to talk about Ponyo now. Specifically the fact that in the official dub for Ponyo, this man is voiced by Liam Neeson. So you're telling me that he can take down human traffickers, terrorists, Russian agents, but he is bested by a boy who can barely make a sandwich. That thing only has lettuce and cheese. What is that boy smoking?
What was Miyazaki smoking when he made The Wind Rises? But about this movie, it's actually a conclusion to a critically acclaimed trilogy of movies. Preceding it is the very highly rated movie, The Dark Wind, and before that, Flyman B. Wins.
But, I mean, there's more to it than that. This movie also heavily features tuberculosis, as well as advertising some great ways for you to hashtag start the spread. Honestly, looking at this movie post-COVID, it's pretty dangerous to have a film featuring a certified pug chaser or SacAnime convention organizer. It's the same thing.
All right, and then we have his latest one, The Boy and the Heron. Aside from being a stranger danger PSA with the heron, I think this was mostly supposed to be a self-insert fantasy about Miyazaki himself. Because like it's kind of his history. Like the father figure is built working on Japanese airplanes, just like it was in real life. But instead of him being like a sickly weeb growing up, he was like a Chad kid who then ventures into his grandfather's magic land to find his mother and soon-to-be unborn sibling. If this is his self-insert fantasy, he might have had some issues growing up. And then, especially because this goes into the whole bird Nazis turning his mother, who's dead and then is not dead in the fantasy world, into Sleeping Beauty, and then him refusing to be the new king of the Magic Land, which condemns everyone to a painful death in the world. So maybe not the greatest fantasy to say, this is my life.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. And I think the critics agree with our take on Miyazaki. I mean, look at this chart here. 5-star ratings, it's really high up there. Like 30% of people give Miyazaki's films a 5. Wait, are movie ratings like golf? I thought they were like golf. You want lower scores, right? You know?
Yeah, that's why everything has lower score, because it's better.
Okay, I mean, here's the thing. He's basically just a film bro director. Like, the same people who are, like, reviewing his movies are the same people who are going to be like, well, actually, I think Quentin Tarantino's foot fetish is very artistic. That's why I only watch true cinema. So, the Academy Awards get it. In 2013, what was supposed to be his final film, The Wind Rises, lost to Frozen. I mean, losing to this makes sense. And here's the thing, Best Animated Film, that's basically just a participation trophy for Best Picture. And he can't even win a good job, buddy, with what is supposed to be his life's work. And I can relate. I'm peaking as a niche regional micro-celebrity who will only be relevant as long as I keep making panels at anime conventions. What are you doing? You're part of this. Like this is as far as I'm gonna get. I submitted panels every time slot here. This is the only thing we got, losing out to 8 dress up as your favorite character and answer questions, and a 3DS panel meetup. Or 3DS meetup. And like, we're doing this. We're not even reimbursed to be here. We have to buy our tickets. We are not paid labor, we are paying to be labor. And this is as far as I'm getting. I'm so upset. What does your favorite Miyazaki film say about you? So first, Kiki's Delivery Service. Who's his favorite is Kiki's. Is your hand cool? If your favorite is Kiki's Delivery Service, that means you are a childless cat lady in your quarter life crisis and about to be taken to one of J.D. Vance's wife training camps. So sorry.
Everything's gonna be cool till that.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm very sorry about that. What about Spirited Away? That means you're a chief creative officer of Pixar, John Lasseter. Warriors of the Wind? It means you're a fan of the Dune franchise. Porco Rosso? Hell yeah. It means you love planes and you hate Nazis. Yeah. Wind Rises? It means you love planes and have conflicting opinions on Nazis. Boy and the Heron? You already raised your hand. It means you have an Ebert account. And could you please stop talking about it?
Wait. Let me try some. All right. My Neighbor Totoro.
No, why?
We got one? We have one.
My mom.
All right. It means you love public transportation and think all buses should be cat cafes. All right. How about Ponyo? Ponyo? It means you agree with Team Aqua and think that Hoenn doesn't have enough water. All right, Castle of Cagliostro, the first one. All right, that means either you're a massive Detective Conan fan or you really like stealing things. Whichever one's worse, choose. It's up to you. All right, Castle in the Sky, or the one with like that weird name.
Okay.
All right, you wear goggles on your forehead, and you really never outgrew your steampunk phase.
Hey, I can play 2 of those characters. Also, yes, but...
All right, Howl's Moving Castle. We know there's one. All right, okay. It means you're all about that hashtag RV life, but you're too materialistic to have a tiny house.
Well, if your tiny house is also a bag of holding.
That's true. Princess Mononoke. Only 2?
No.
All right, it means...
Yeah,
It means one day while you were driving, you found a dead bear on the road, put it in your car to eat later, ran out of time and had to abandon it in Central Park.
Yeah, that happened to you, right?
Yeah.
Vegetarian.
So that's why you dubbed it. Okay.
You're like free bear. Oh wait, I don't eat bear.
God, I love his voice. He should be an anime dub voice actor.
God.
He should.
Yeah, the brainworm took out a few more things than his brain. So I think we should, we've gone over Miyazaki's movies and how bad they are, but, he has a lot of tropes.
I love TV tropes so much.
It's a good website. It's great. So, a lot of directors have tropes that they like to rely on. Like Martin Scorsese, he's well known for casting Leonardo DiCaprio. Christopher Nolan, he's well known for casting Leonardo DiCaprio. And Quentin Tarantino, he's well known for using gamer words, being really into feet, and also casting Leonardo DiCaprio. But what about Miyazaki? He hasn't casted Leonardo DiCaprio yet, so he's soon. I think he's already working on another movie. Well, just
Supposed to be retired.
he keeps saying that. I think he was going to retire after Mononoke.
They keep trying to get him to retire. He keeps
He
coming
won't
back.
do it. I mean, well, to be fair, Goro keeps fucking up.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're going to go over some of Miyazaki's, most Miyazaki-isms. First, we're going to talk about romance, because Miyazaki just loves slapping his love story onto his movies to add 10 minutes of runtime. The problem is, you're like, yeah, that sounds about right. The problem is, these deep love stories are always just like a love at first sight and no development beyond that. I mean, none of these are that interesting. We have Wind Warrior and the Bug, Tonbo and my dog, whatever the fuck their names are, and then the two wolves. This is in comparison to a much better constructed love story. That is, of course, the one from Ranma 1/2. So I'm going to explain to you the greatest love story ever told.
They should get that joke now.
That is definitely not just something I ported from another panel over to pad runtime. So Ranma 1/2, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is the story of Ranma, who can be a boy or a girl depending on the temperature of water he was most recently exposed to. You get him cold water, turns into a girl. When there's hot water, she turns back into a boy. Very interesting. I don't think they tackle hand washing in this universe. Kind of gross. Anyway, I need to be same character. Not many people are going to realize that. So the first introduced character in this is Akane. Now, Akane and Ranma's dads are childhood friends. And, as best friends, as dads do, their one shared goal is to ruin their children's life. So they've decided these two have to get married. The problem is, Akane fucking hates Ranma. She thinks he's a chauvinistic pig, and I mean, look at how he's dressed. He has a rat tail and a wife beater. He's a chauvinistic pig. Next, we have Tadawake Kuno. He was really into Akane until Ranma showed up, and then he changed his mind. And how can you blame him? She's so cute. The thing is, he actually thinks that, he doesn't realize they're the same person. In fact, he thinks boy Ranma and girl Ranma are dating, despite never seeing the two of them in the same room together, because it's impossible. So his goal is to defeat boy Ranma to win girl Ranma's affection, but Ranma does not care about him at all in either
Everyone
form.
knows if you beat up someone's boyfriend, they automatically fall for it.
That's the plot of the whole show. Next we have Kodachi Kuno, who's basically the same thing, but for boy Ranma. She loves him, he hates her. He thinks that boy Ranma and girl Ranma are dating. Because, like brother, like sister. Next we have Ryoga, who is a disgusting pig. He hates Ranma because Ranma's engaged to Akane, in theory, and Ranma does not care about him because he's a pig. He's really into Akane, and she sees him as a friend. It's fine. Next we have Shampoo, who has the very real Amazonian tradition of she must marry the first man who defeats her in combat and kill all women who defeat her in combat, which sounds fine because if they beat her, they probably don't need to worry about her killing them. She has been defeated by both forms of Ranma, and despite being someone who, turns into a cat when she gets wet, doesn't realize, again, that they are different Ranmas. So if she ever succeeds at this, it's going to have a bad outcome for that. Next we have Ukyo. Ukyo is Ranma's childhood friend, and when they were 5, they agreed that they were going to get married. Ranma forgot about that.
Well, that's fair.
Ukyo didn't. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, it's fair.
Who remembers things from when they're 5?
Who here has proposed marriage to a 5-year-old and followed through with it? Besides, Epstein. Now, but this leads to one interesting thing, because Ukyo and Akane are just friends. Like, they're just gal pals. Which means that this series somehow passes the Bechdel test. And then next we have Hapos, the most disgusting character in the series, Brock. Brock wants to fuck everybody.
Right.
Much better love story than whatever, Miyazaki's cooking.
So for other tropes that Miyazaki loves to rely on, first one is pirates. He's really known for them, but you know the type of pirates, like terror of the high seas, steals things, sexy beyond all belief,
scurvy,
kills people, doesn't know how to bathe, just like people just con. But only Miyazaki's pirates are nothing like this. First off, they're always airship pirates, which isn't a real thing. They may look similar, especially in the bathing part, but they're arguably not even that bad. They just sit around at the bar complaining all day. They're just like your uncle. And then arguably sometimes they are the good guys in the movies. It's not realistic at all. It doesn't do the pirate trope justice. You know what does do the pirate trope justice? Like One Piece. They have real pirates. They use guns, they do dirty tricks, they punch people, and they have a goddamn boat. That's required. They don't do the sexy pirate very well. They leave that to a different enemy. Of course, Captain Harlock. He's so sexy the galaxy is his harem. So Miyazaki needs more pirates like Harlock, honestly.
Miyazaki, though, he's kind of a real Ryoga. He loves turning people into pigs. It's literally so synonymous with him that it's the first result when I searched it up. He just won't stop with it, turning parents into pigs, turning anti-fascists into pigs, even turning dogs into pigs, before it was cool.
Like that slow burn. Miyazaki is also well known for making strong female characters. Woo! So we have San from Princess Mononoke, Nausicaa from Warriors of the Wind, Fio Piccolo from Porco Rosso, and they're all tough women who can drive the plot. But can they punch a hole through a man? Yep. Enter stage right Nezuko from Demon Slayer. Is she strong? Hell yeah. As the character couldn't tell you, she never says anything. Could she punch a hole through a man? Absolutely. But fine. Maybe I'm confusing strong with, interesting, well-developed characters who experience strong growth throughout the series. And, Kiki speedruns the entire millennial experience in about 2 months. Chiharu learns to help herself and grade pigs as if she's in a 4-H agricultural program. And Lady Amaboshi goes from being an evil industrial titan to someone who acknowledges trees exist.
What about Princess Kaguya?
That is not Miyazaki. That's Ghibli. Which, within canon, yes, but that is not a Miyazaki film. The thing is, you know who does a better job developing characters? Again, Demon Slayer knocks it out of the park with Mitsuru Kanroji, a powerful Hashira with a strong motivation to get stronger so she can get married and then go home and make pancakes. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah. But she's very developed inside and out. In fact, actually, I think that's the real flaw here. Miyazaki's really good at painting gorgeous landscapes. But the only character that he's made that's A, strong, B, well-developed, and C, canonically gorgeous is Ashitaka. And that man is literally dog food. So again, he loses to Demon Slayer. But which of these characters best ties these three attributes together? I don't think it's any of them. I think it's Tengen's harem. Strong, literally ninjas. Well-developed, they have their own backstories and motivations. Beauty comically unrealistic. But hey, if you disagree that that's comically unrealistic, feel free to come up after the panel and maybe we could talk about it over, coffee or something.
If you know Miyazaki, you know he fucking loves planes. Which is weird because airplanes are responsible for ruining his country when he was a child. So, I guess they are his first memory. And a lot of the planes he says he draws in his animes were his own creations that he pulls from his childhood memories. Must have been some pretty good memories. I didn't realize Germany invaded Japan at some point. Okay, but, and for someone who's as anti-war as Miyazaki, he loves putting warplanes into everything. Those bombs aren't filled with chocolate and cupcakes.
No, it's sunshine and rainbows.
But he's got to put something that flies into every single one of his movies. Even if it's not strictly a plane, flying on a broom, doing a Mary Poppins, riding a dragon, or just getting the castle. Something's got to be in the air by Act 2. And don't get me started about turning people into fucking birds.
Taking the mic back, you don't deserve it. Speaking of anti-war messaging, really? I mean, have you seen Princess Mononoke? Sure, it's all about, the hubris of man, maybe we shouldn't kill fucking God. But, you've seen the action scenes. They're fucking lit, bro. I've learned so much about how to deal with 30 to 50 wild feral hogs. And then you see Howl's Moving Castle, and he blames Howl's lack of success in the West for its anti-war messaging because it was critical of the Iraq War during the Bush administration. That's not why it wasn't well received. It wasn't well received because it's a C-tier movie at best. And then when it comes to The Wind Rises, suddenly he's apolitical about war. Planes are cool. I don't know what they're for.
At least he's not apolitical about one thing, and that's the environment. I mean, although there's plenty of fair critiques we could give him, he could have gone a whole lot further with the whole environmentalism thing. He could have shown Lady Eboshi fracking, or Ponyo stuck in a plastic ring. Basic stuff he could have done. He also advocates for bad environmental habits, like feeding wild animals. That's kind of yikes. And even giving wild animals plastic. And that's microplastic. I meant macroplastic. And don't get me started on Howl's Moving Castle. What does it run on, really? Love? Friendship? Obviously not. It runs on coal.
Oh.
I bet Howl has to has to buy carbon credits from Yobaba's bathhouse or Tesla or something.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about someone who's done a good job with environmental activism. And that is, of course, Joe Murray, creator of the hit 90s cartoon Rocko's Modern Life. The Zanzibar episode of the show Alone Green pilled me, leading me to spend a portion of my adult life as a registered member of the Green Party and buying a manual coffee grinder for reasons other than respecting the sanctity of the bean. I have this whole fucking song memorized. I hadn't listened to it for 15 years and it's still in my head. This man has taught me so much about how to protect the ozone layer, and after this episode came out, the hole in the ozone shrank. So what has Miyazaki done? Nothing. What has Rocko's Modern Life done? Shrunk the hole in the ozone layer. Get fucked, buddy. He also likes castles, much like Adam Chase from Jetlag. So much so that, he puts something, even if it's not castle, he'll put something castle adjacent into nearly every one of his movies. And I think we should review those castles. So we're going to use, the 3 from the films with castles in their name.
So first off, we have Howl's Moving Castle. And I think it's a real beauty. Sure, it looks a little odd, like a fish with legs wearing battleship parts as a hat. We all know people love it when you slap battleship parts onto things with legs.
It has 8 eyes.
And sure, it looks like it might eat you, but that's that extra security feature, so nobody's going to get up in your business.
Is it camouflage?
Yeah, and the inside is beautiful as well. It's got fine hardwood floors, the most luxurious, perfect wooden tables. Sure, they only show 3 rooms, but they're really beautiful after Sophie cleans them. And people always say that alpine castles are the most beautiful. And well, Howl's is an alpine castle, but it's also a lakeside castle at the same time. And if those don't work for you, well, just turn it into a flying castle and go wherever you want it to go. And then it's also really emblematic of just Miyazaki's sense of adventure as a whole. It's always moving around, #van life, but, there's a door to different locales so he can draw all the different landscapes. And then just like Miyazaki's life, it gets bombed. Real blast from his past.
That's all nice and good, but the Castle of Cagliostro, that's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. Take the moment when Lupin and Count Cagliostro are fighting in a clock. This wouldn't be a problem if there were OSHA-conforming railings you can definitely see on this projector.
That is just a garden wall.
Even if they were OSHA-conforming railings, though, they wouldn't save the count. As, look, how do you get stuck in between 2 hands of a clock? That's a far-fetched end. At least we know the time of death, though. And look at Lupin doing some light mechanical work. No way this would be safe without, a hard hat and a lift belt. There's a reason he wears bandages on his head for most in the movie. And in general, there's so many dangerous things Lupin does, like running on roofs, swimming up waterfalls, or working with cops.
Cruise. You just made it sound like a Mission Impossible movie.
It's kind of good.
Yeah. Lupin's a modern day Tom Cruise. Sure, we have those, but the final Miyazaki castle we'd like to review is Laputa, the Castle in the Sky, which can be yours for the low, low price of $1 billion. With a state-of-the-art security system, expansive gardens, and authentic crumbling Roman architecture, you don't want to miss out on this killer deal. And did I mention? It flies. Howl's Moving Castle, that thing just glides with style. Be the envy of all the other parasitic billionaires in your neighborhood. Bezos' rockets can't take you to space in this luxury. Zuckerberg's metaverse can hardly render a McDonald's, let alone an expansive garden. And Elon Musk just spent all of his money electing some tyrant dictator because he's upset his kid is trans. Don't waste your money on that. Buy this castle so you can fly away from this burning earth with peace of mind. You could, yeah, and it's a flying tree in the end, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, I think at this point we've proved, Miyazaki's pretty predictable. He's just doing the same things over and over again. It's kind of boring, much like we just keep making the same jokes over and over again. But what I think we need to do is give Miyazaki's properties over to a company that's, brimming with creative ideas. And, I feel like someone said something. First we thought Studio Laika, but then we realized that they're too busy. So instead we're going to give them to the next best company for this, which is of course Disney.
What does Disney do best to beloved IPs? And let's take Kiki's Delivery Service, which both of us agree is it's kind of a banger movie. If you give it to Disney, you'll just get a live-action reimagining. So, Kiki, flying through the streets, delivering packages to grateful customers, not in this century. I'm talking about Kiki's Delivery Service 2, Prime Delivery. After Jeff Bezos runs the bakery out of business, Kiki's spirit breaks and she loses her magic. Now, as an Amazon driver, Kiki takes to the streets and tries to deliver her quota before she runs out of piss bottles. And we don't have to stop there with just one small little change making movies 1,000 times better. Like, what if Taz, Quest for Burger, was set at a fast food place? Or Harold and Kumar was set at a fast food place? Or, hear me out on this, if El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie only on Netflix, was set at a fast food place? And again, it's always that damn little problem, Howl's Moving Castle. Like, this movie, a change in setting would help it immensely. It takes place in what? A countryside? Let's get out of here with that shit. If it were up to me, it would take place in Tiananmen Square. Oh. We could do better than a sequel, I admit. What about a live-action prequel? So I present to you Yababa's bathhouse that definitely wasn't spoiled, where Yababa has to secretly construct a meth lab under her bathhouse while trying to hide the whole thing from her sister Zaniba. And of course, it lasts 6 seasons and takes place as a prequel to Spirited Away, except for the last 4 episodes, which take place years after Sen leaves the bathhouse.
I mean, live-action reimaginings are all fine and good, but I think we know where the real money is, and that is, of course, in the Ghibli cinematic universe. I like the, oh no. So we're going to talk to you about the Ghibliverse. Now, I know the Ghibliverse started strong with Phase 1, leading to the original Ghibli Avengers working together to defeat Yubaba and liberate the bathhouse. Phases 2 and 3 also exquisite, as we got new Ghibli Avengers in their fight against Emperor Hirohito, Benito Mussolini, and even Adolf Hitler. And I understand there was a disappointment with Phase 4. Phase 3 was great with such highlights as the betrayal of Tombo and Chihiro's death against Mussolini. It wasn't great for us to follow that up with Jigo and the multiverse of Billy Bob Thornton's. And then Phase 5 had some problems. We decided to bring Haku back and kind of make him the focus of the Ghibliverse, but we cast Jonathan Majors to play him. But I think we managed to land the plane in the end with Nausicaa's heroic sacrifice against the big bad of the phase, Kirito. And that brings us to Ghibliverse Phase 6. I know, right? You're like, the fuck is this? I don't know. First up, we have the third film in the newly envisioned Dark My Neighbor Totoro universe, My Burden Totoro. With Mei and Satsuki's father devastated from the loss of the family, he must grab a gun and dedicate the rest of his life to finding and killing the Totoro. That's right, we're going full Life Aquatic. Now, we have a prequel to one of Miyazaki's most beloved works, The Cat Returns. Where's the cat returning from? Egypt. That's right, the cat must visit his ancestral home where he finds an artifact that unleashes the power of his pharaoh ancestors, learns the rules of an ancient children's card game, and defeats Seto Kaiba. Next we have Princess Mononoke 4. Set a few years after the third film where Sen and Ashitaka defeat a lumber company in the California redwoods. This time the two of them get roped into a scheme to stick it directly to oil companies where they work with the kids from Captain Planet to blow up a pipeline. Pretty simple, right? Well, in the fourth closing credit of the film, it is revealed that the CEO of the oil company was no other than Scrooge McDuck. Lupin III, Voyage to Danger, sees Lupin target Scrooge McDuck's vast riches, and brings a side character from the Ghibliverse to the forefront for the first time. That's right, helping him with the heist is Jeff the dog.
Yeah!
Lupin and Jeff work together to break into McDuck Manor, only to realize McDuck has acquired the remnants of Kaiba Corp, following their destruction at the end of The Cat Begins.
I have a question.
Lupin must do the unthinkable and enlist Officer Zenigata to assist him with apprehending Scrooge. But when the three of them confront McDuck, he unleashes his Super Saiyan powers, and Lupin must sacrifice himself for the others to escape. This leaves us to the final film of Phase 6, where the Ghibliverse must work together to stop Super Saiyan Scrooge McDuck from his attack on the Spirited Away bathhouse, our Avengers headquarters. Our team of Avengers assemble at Lynn's behest and just when things look their bleakest. Hal and his moving castle arrive to battle directly with McDuck Manor. Honestly, we're expecting it to be the first Ghibliverse film to win Best Picture. But in the final after-credit scene, which can only be viewed after you watch 3 more movies in the same theater, you will find out that Scrooge wasn't working alone. He has a boss, and that boss is Shendu. That's right. We're happy to announce here for the first time that Phase 7 will bring Jackie Chan into the Ghibliverse.
People walked in during this, Max. I'm amazed they didn't leave immediately.
How many of these movies were written by an AI?
None.
Not enough. So, circling back to a conversation we all had before this panel started, why won't he retire? We keep telling him to, he keeps not doing it. And the thing is, it doesn't make sense. There's objectively superior competition out there, like Studio Panak. They just released one of their newest films, The Imaginary, not to be confused with the shitty film, Imaginary. It was good. I was excited. My only real gripe with this film is honestly pretty major, and that's that they decided to have the villain be some guy walking around in a Hawaiian shirt, cargo shorts, and sandals with socks on. And that's peak fashion. Mr. Bunting is an icon, not a villain.
Yeah. So, I mean, Miyazaki's good, but he doesn't even do Miyazaki-isms the best. You know who does do them better? I'm talking about, of course, George Lucas. He did Miyazaki better than Miyazaki way back in the distant past of 2001 with the prequel trilogy. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how. I mean, it starts off with the child being a main character. Like, you know, the sense of wonder and excitement that Miyazaki brings. Like, this is great. And the pig curse? I mean, what's worse than being Jar Jar? Like, that is a much better pig curse, because that's actually terrifying. Like, being a pig eating all day doesn't seem that bad. Jar Jar, oh god. And I mean, the sense of flight and wonder, like, we get the pod race. And
now, that's what I call pod racing.
Exactly, like, that's much better, like, love of flight. It's a whole aesthetic. And like, they work with pirates, even. He even flies to help with the whole flying aesthetic. And, like, Miyazaki can bring the cat back once. George Lucas just keeps bringing the cat back a billion times. Like, where else do you think they get the clones? unlike the magic systems in Miyazaki, just don't make sense. Like, there's magic crystals, like magicians, meteorites, etc. At least Star Wars is consistent. You know, they always have their limitations. They never just make shit up and do whatever they feel like in the director's change. And then, like, strong female women. Clearly, Padme was the one protecting everyone there, not the other way around. Like, strong female women. I mean, Star Wars has always had strong female women, even strong enough to choke out the Sims. And the biggest Miyazakiism of all, that George Lucas did so much better with Episode 3, dead children. Like, he doesn't hold a candle to that.
Speaking of children, this is Goro Miyazaki, the son of Hayao Miyazaki. And unlike his father, Goro is an unmitigated genius. Like, let's talk about a few of his movies, specifically Irrigan the Witch, a movie that was so good it got me sick for a week and I barely finished my slides. Goro actually kind of cooking with this one. It's in Irrigan the Witch, the main character, Erica Wig, is adopted by a witch who uses her for manual labor only. And Erica then has to spend the rest of the movie subtly tricking her foster parents and manipulating them into doing what she says until they finally teach her magic. And if you can't see the real-world parallels in that, I really don't know what to tell you. He also made Tales from Earthsea, an absolutely beautiful movie with perfect audience scores, rave reviews, and positive comments from the original creator. And I was gonna like make some sort of joke about Up on Poppy Hill, but you know, it's well rated, so I actually don't even have to. I did anyways, though.
I mean, I assume you gave it 3 stars because it's clearly a Kiss sequel.
I mean, let's not pretend it's a great movie or anything, come on. And remember Boy and the Heron, Academy Award winner? Great movie, directed by Hayao Miyazaki. But if you look at the crew positions chain of command, Hayao Miyazaki's the director. But guess who's on top of him as the executive producer? That's right, the true mastermind, Goro Miyazaki. And let's be real, what do directors of movies really do? Nothing. All they do is make sure those damn underpaid animators stay in line. So, Goro's cool, Hayao kind of sucks, and I think we should leave it all to the next generation. The old generation kind of sucks.
Hey. What? Wait. So, no, I wrote like half of your jokes. You think you're ready to give a panel? No. Goro sucks, Hayao Miyazaki's fucking based, let's go. Hello, everybody, and thank you. Yeah, woo.
Well, thank you for coming to our panel. We hope you had fun. If you enjoyed this, our tone is very similar to many of our other panels, so feel free to grab a card and check out our other ones on YouTube.
You can either scan the QR code there, come take a business card. Again, it's a link to our link tree where we... so again, we upload our panels there on YouTube. We also have a Twitch that we sometimes use. We have Blue Sky. And we have OnlyFans. Yeah, fuck Twitter, that's for fashion.
And we hope everyone has a great SacAnime. Thank you for coming.
Yes. Huh?
What dispensary did you use for the phases?
He's just that insane normally.
Yeah. I came up with a lot more fake movies than that.
We had to
and
stop
we cut it. Yeah. I finished my slides too early, so I just kept adding Ghibli-verse content.
Yeah, we had to cut him off at some point.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, how many panels have you
I can't
uploaded?
believe they have a Blue Sky. That's crazy.
On YouTube, like 70 panels are uploaded.
Oh, wow.
We've done about 140 panels.
Wow.
I mean, not different panels, but we've done 140
Like 20
presentations.
different.
20
Something like that.
Yeah.
I love this panel so much.
Thank you.
I went in not knowing what this was going to be.
I don't think anyone can know what this is.
Yeah.
No more.
This was the first time we've done this one.
Yeah, I love your sense of humor and everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you guys
Bye.
At Fanime?
Yeah,
We're planning
Yeah,
on it.
Okay.
Yeah, we do a lot of panels at Fanime.
Okay,
they tolerate us at anime.
Come see Waluigi time if you can.
Yeah.
We're in character as Mario, Luigi, and Waluigi.
Okay.
I've been,
So you've seen, so you're familiar with
I've
it.
been here a couple years, so
Okay.
I've seen you most of your panels. But I'm glad you have a third one now, so that's cool.
This is not this is like our 20th different panel.
Really?
Yeah, we have a lot of panels.
What other kind of panels do you do?
Max, you want to pull up the list?
Pokemon
All right, so we have
I don't have
Sonic,
internet on this
we have
thing.
Mario, we have a couple Pokemon ones. We have
Console Wars.
Console Wars. There's a Detective Conan panel.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one, but I haven't seen the Mario one. So.
Okay, so we have the Super Mario Bros. Super Show and
That one's new.
Are our two Mario panels
Oh, okay.
that I know of off the top of my head.
Okay.
Then we have like 5th gen Pokemon. We did a Pokemon Snap one. We have Ash Can't Catch Him, which is just Ash being a terrible Pokemon trainer.
Oh yeah. So.
I'm trying to think, what other ones did we do in discontinued?
Pokemon Live.
Yeah, we have Pokemon Live.
I don't want to